Welcome back to Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest. It is my pleasure to be back with you today to discuss Marvel's What If Episode 3, officially titled What If the World Lost Its Mightiest Heroes? Now, we have a description for this episode, and we will go into this episode. But before we do, we have a trailer to discuss. Yesterday, as I'm sitting here, the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer was released. And I have to say, that was momentous. I'm so glad, as a fan of Marvel movies, but huge fan of Spider-Man movies, that this movie is coming out this year, let alone this year, but that trailer was fantastic. What did you guys think? I mean, just some of the still images from this thing. New Rockstar's already pointed out that the trailer was released on the same day that Wanda and Vision had marked on their calendar, August 23rd. Yeah, that was probably intentional, not, I don't know, probably not intentional. Anyway, the trailer, I was even having discussions with people all week, literally up to the day, about if this trailer doesn't come out like almost this week, it's looking like we have a Black Widow situation, and it's looking like this movie could get pushed back a whole year, and that don't feel good for Spidey. We don't want to wait that long for Spidey. We want Spidey now, and yeah, we get Spidey now. So yeah, New Rockstars has put some a great theory video out about it. I was just watching it before I started. I have so much insane hype. If you haven't seen the trailer for the Spider-Man No Way Home movie yet, holy mother almighty, go watch it. We are in for some multiverse shenanigans. If you thought Loki was crazy, get ready. And by the way, you might need to go watch the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Those are about to be canon in the MCU, I think. Oh, and by the way, you may need to go watch the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. They may also be relevant as well. Oh, and by the way, you might also need to go watch the Venom movies. I don't know, maybe. I haven't seen the Venom, man. I haven't seen Venom all the way through. Let's be real. I'm going to have to go see Venom. I'm going to have to watch Venom and talk about it on here, I think. I love the Raimi Spider-Man films. Doctor Strange and Spider-Man are on an adventure in time in this movie, and they go through the multiverse, and let's just say Dr. Octopus is back from Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2, and it's hinted that William Dafoe is back too in Spider-Man. From Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man, we get his laugh, and we get the pumpkin bomb, the iconic pumpkin bomb. So, as with every Marvel trailer, we have to be skeptical of what they're showing us. What they're giving us can be completely false, right? It's like completely misleading, almost like fake shots. The best example I'll always have and give is the shot of the Incredible Hulk, green Incredible Hulk, running in battle at the end of Infinity War, running into battle instead of Bruce Banner in the Hulkbuster suit. There's a shot of Incredible Hulk, green, angry, mad Hulk running in the Battle of Wakanda in the trailers, just to throw you off, just so you don't know the arc of the Hulk story in that movie in the trailer. This is what you have to love about the people that run the MCU. They don't want you to know anything about the movies going in. So this trailer was almost made in a way to, for this movie, this is hijinks after, this has got to be the craziest movie I've ever heard of in my life. For them to be doing this, it's got to be done really well. The trailer was amazing. So what did you guys think? At Marvel Maniac Pod, TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. Give us your thoughts. Obviously, the @ symbol in front of all those things. Does that need to be said anymore, though? I feel like that was as sassy as Tony Stark and almost Doctor Strange combined. We're watching too many of these sassy heroes lately. I need more lovable heroes in my life. I'm really excited about this episode. This is the first episode I'm going in completely blind, and I think a lot of us as an audience is too. What if the world's lost its mightiest heroes? Nick Fury struggles to launch the Avengers initiative, well, just the Avengers, when candidates are targeted by a serial killer. Now, I am doing this episode in the same format in which I did last week. I'm going to watch the episode and comment as I go. I had a lot of fun doing it that way last week. I had a great experience watching it. I had a real memorable time watching it, and I actually consumed the episode in my mind probably in one of the most memorable positive experiences. It might have just been the episode too, but I had a wonderful time reviewing the episode last week, just like watching it and discussing it as we went. So, also, always your thoughts are welcome. If you think giving a review post episode is good, is better, let me know. Give me your thoughts at Marvel Maniac Pod. All the links in the description. But you're welcome here. I'm so happy to have you here. Thank you for being here. And let's just get into this freaking episode. I'm so stoked to watch it right now. I'm not that stoked because I feel like all my favorite heroes are about to die in front of me. And sounds a little depressing, and you know it, and I don't, since you're here and you probably watched it already. So what do you know that I don't? Okay, let's go. Okay, so we start off on a Monday, and it's Nick Fury and Natasha Romanoff. They're driving to meet Tony Stark within the confines of the movie Iron Man 2. Very cool. Very, 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 very cool that we watched these movies very recently on the podcast. If you were with us or not with us, we discussed Iron Man 2 and Thor. So it's kind of fresh in my brain. It was kind of cool. So Natasha and Fury are approaching Tony after he's had his all-night bender with Rhodey, I believe, and he's sitting in the donut. Identical to the movie. So we're just barely splitting off timelines, diverging timelines here. And we get the exact line. There was an idea to bring together a group of remarkable people to see if they could become something more. So she's basically like, why would you bring Stark in on this? And Fury's arguing that I brought a Russian spy in on this once. Maybe you should trust my judgment. And everything goes the same except for when Natasha gives Tony the particles, that cures his problem. He passes out and he dies. And Natasha checks his pulse, and he doesn't come back to life. So this is where we go wrong here, and it's kind of dark. It's actually really it stirs me in a very wrong way. I feel very uncomfortable watching Tony die here. I don't like it at all. It's really I don't like not in a critical way of the show. It's just it's really twisted. This is the darkest thing they've done so far. The Watcher says humanity is so eager, so willing to face the impossible, yet blind to see the bigger picture. Inside 1 week, 3 strange and separate stories unfolded. So this is stating, and it's true, Iron Man 2, Thor, and Hulk took place in the same week. Hulk, the Incredible Hulk with Ed Norton, multiverse variant Hulk, the variant Ed Norton Hulk, we call him now. Variant, we'll call him Ed Norton, because now it's a multiverse, so it's just a variant. Bruce Banner, okay? And so the Watcher goes on, a genius battled his demons both inside and out, and it shows this great picture of Iron Man battling Whiplash on the racetrack. Then just a still of Hulk becoming a man, regular man, Bruce Banner. And then a godly prince fell to earth, and we get to see Thor. I am the Watcher, and where humans see chaos, I see the crucible that would transform this collection of individuals into a team of heroes. And we see the Avengers. He doesn't say this word for word, but that's what happens in the sacred timeline. But that doesn't happen here on this timeline. Tuesday, Mjolnir is sitting in front of Coulson, and Coulson calls Fury, and we are here. At the beginning of the movie Thor, Coulson's sitting in front of the hammer, or the end of the movie Iron Man 2, if you want to say, technically. It's the post-credit scene of Iron Man 2, where Coulson is standing in front of the hammer, man, this is some nostalgic stuff at the same time, and this alternate universe is pretty sick. I was a little itched at this idea at first of all the Avengers dying, but now that we're seeing this, it's kind of freaking awesome. So the next scene we get is Coulson calling Fury, as we know. And Fury says, I'm a little tied up at the moment. So we get to cut away to Fury with Natasha. And she's letting Fury know that, I never liked Tony Stark, but I would never do this to him. And as we know, unless something has gone completely wrong with this variant of Natasha and her past, to turn her, which, as far as I know, she's pretty similar to the one we know. There's nothing really different here. This Natasha Romanoff, I don't know what. There's got to be a bigger twist here, because okay, right now from my perspective, they're really wanting us to think it is Natasha. Like, I feel like even in the previews, it seems like it's Natasha. So. What's going on? What's really going on here? What's really going on here? So she's basically trying to convince Fury that it's not her. And Fury says, I know, but, this is basically protocol. We have to play all our cards, and this is what we have to do now. She tells Fury that the restraints won't hold her, and then Fury says that he's counting on it, and he hands her something to get like another vial, and he says he needs to find out who compromised the antidote. And she says, are you sure you want to take another big swing on me, boss? And he says, the safest bet I'll ever make. And fantastic. I love that. All right, so we get Black Widow just kicking some major ass in the backseat of this car. I mean, this is almost reminiscent of Steve Rogers in the elevator of that elevator in his movie Winter Soldier. Literally, like, she's kind of in a closed compartment. She gives the guard the handcuffs, and then she beats the living heck out of everybody. And I just love that. I love that. It's just a classic Black Widow scene in an alternate universe. Perfect. Now it's nighttime, and we cut to Puente Antigo, New Mexico, and we are around Mjolnir, and it is the site of Mjolnir where now we know it's a shield facility that Thor does break into on his movie, where he runs into it and goes crazy and tries to get the hammer, and he can't get it, and it's where Hawkeye aims his bow at him in his movie. And right now Nick Fury and Hawkeye are both standing over the hammer. Yeah, so this whole thing has me laughing. So we get Nick Fury's whole perspective on this thing, and it is just really, I had to really think, we really never do get Nick Fury's perspective on Thor's arrival. It's all Coulson handling this, and Coulson really does play antagonist in Thor. And yeah, so Thor is straight on attacking the base, and Nick Fury says the move is hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And then Coulson finds an unconscious guard. He lets Fury know that there's a guard down. And Clint says, I think the worst just got here. I swear every voice actor is on point. I learned that Steve Rogers was voiced by somebody else, who the guy did fantastic. But a lot of the voice actors are the same as the original voice cast. If that is not Jeremy Renner, I will give you $5. Whoever's, if I'm wrong, and I literally won't, though. Okay. So Coulson's talking to Fury, and he says, I got visual on the intruder, and he's kind of stunned. He says he's a Caucasian male, mid-20s with the wind whips through his hair. Really great hair. And then Fury's like, excuse me? Samuel Jackson? Samuel Jackson is just perfect. We get Samuel Jackson. You never know when you're going to get a good Samuel Jackson cameo as Nick Fury in the MCU, let alone a story here in Marvel's What If. Like, here we are with Nick Fury watching Thor arrive. And I never thought I'd see that. That gives me the giggles. So just like the movie, Thor is just ripping through guys, left, right. He's running through the camp to get to his hammer. But just this time, Nick Fury's here. So at this point, Hawkeye is above Thor at the point where he is reaching for his hammer. And Hawkeye draws his arrow, and he just makes a quaint comment. He's like, oh, Coulson wasn't wrong about his hair. Just that one moment, a brief moment, and he's holding his arrow, and Fury says, hold on, I want to see this. And lightning strikes, and it makes him draw his arrow, and he shoots Thor straight in the chest, and he kills Thor. Hawkeye kills Thor on accident, but he straight up kills Thor. This escalates very fast, and Hawkeye insisted that he didn't shoot, that it wasn't even his control, it wasn't in his power. And Nick Fury says your arrow would indicate otherwise. Clint's really upset. He's sitting in a cell, and Fury and Coulson are watching him, and Clint's kind of saying to himself, I don't miss. It's clear that something kind of overtook him, though. It's really making me wonder what the heck's going on here. Who's behind all this? Coulson asks, what's the word on our intruder? And Fury replies, dead. And if our blood samples are to be believed, he would be 1,000 years old and not of this world. So instantaneously, they know that something huge is going on. These aren't just coincidental deaths. They are assassinations. Fury asks if Barton's still sticking to his story, and Coulson replies that he's been as heck out of shape in there, and he is sticking to his story. And Fury replies, he'll talk to me. And just as Fury is going in to approach Clint to talk to him, he's dead. He's completely murdered, and they don't know what it is. So now we have 3 dead Avengers, and Fury and Coulson can't keep up with this. Coulson smells Thor's dead body and says it smells like lavender, which is hilarious and also really creepy and morbid. But I kind of love it because this is just a deep multiverse where this only happened like in a microsecond of time and space. But like Coulson did do that, and Coulson, you're kind of creepy, dude. Stop smelling dead bodies. How many dead bodies has he smelled in reality? Like, Coulson, what are you doing? Never mind. I know. It's a little weird, though. But Nick Fury took a big sniff, too, and he didn't disagree. So maybe he really smells good. Like a god smells like lavender, maybe. Like, maybe he really smells really good. And Nick Fury starts to say there was an idea, and the Avengers Initiative is starting to fall apart in his mind. And it's now Wednesday, Culver University, Virginia. So Natasha visits Dr. Ross, who I'm assuming is from the Incredible Hulk movie. That's what I'm going to guess. And she is a biologist. She goes to Ross for answers about the syringe that killed Stark and what it was and what was in it. So she basically says that the antidote didn't make it out of the syringe. A tiny projectile was fired from the needle, which killed Tony. That makes me so mad. Why did you kill Tony? He needs to save the universe from Thanos, like probably 10 years from this point. So at this point, the lady, Dr. Ross, wants Natasha to leave, gives her strong leave vibes. When she does, she gets a call from Fury, and he lets her know that he has really bad news for her. He asks her if she's in a secure location, and then he says Barton's dead, and the look that comes over her face, so real, so painful, the music, and he says, I know what he meant to you. She turns her head, looks down, her lips tighten, and I'm kind of like really looking at her face here. There is a lot to say about what we can feel and what we can learn about these characters in this show through these alternate scenarios, and what we build off, what we can build off of, learn from them, and grow. And like we can watch the Avengers again, knowing how deep that relationship is with Clint and Natasha. you know, he just died in front of her here. It's so harsh. It's so harsh. It makes that relationship so much stronger just to hear that alternate scenario. It's kind of hard to explain, but I don't know. This is a lot. This is heavy, man. This is heavy. So Nick Fury explains to her that the person who killed him is the person that pretty much is going after the Avengers initiative. This is who I'm trying to get together. The people, the world's great mightiest heroes. This is what I'm trying to assemble, and yeah, they're being attacked and killed, murdered, and the only two left are you and Banner, and you have to find him. And she says, "I think I already have." And he's standing right, hiding in front of her in a closet, being contained by Dr. Ross. So that's kind of funny, and it seems to be the Ruffalo variant of Hulk. In this universe, so that's cool too. Natasha lets them know we need to go now. She senses the danger, the inevitable assassination, and then we get a cutaway to Fury and Coulson checking in at the SHIELD base, which I'm pretty sure is just the base that Thor's hammer was at, and I think is still at, because he never retrieved it at this point, and the Watcher is just pretty much tuned in at this point, like we are. I don't think I've ever seen him like hovered above the sky like this. He's just like chilling in the desert, watching Coulson and Fury just drive through the desert, about to go to this insane scene we're about to see. Because this is about where everything's about to go off the handle, where the universe is about to kick into high gear. His eyes are glowing, probably because like he's about to be like, oh man. Glorious purpose. Loki's coming. So Coulson's approaching the base with a fresh coffee, and it just starts to shake, and then a giant rainbow light, pretty much, I'm assuming, is the Bifrost, is splashing down onto Earth, way bigger than it's seen. I don't know if it's probably like mega Bifrost. And one person over the radio says, she's on the computer, she says it came out of nowhere, it's all over the charts, and yeah, out of it comes Loki with a huge army. Coulson said, oh boy, whatever it is, it came with bogeys, and Fury's like, came from Earth, and he's like, maybe Middle Earth, and it is Loki, like I said, with the army. But you do see the thing that Thor, I always forget the name of it, the thing that Thor fights at the end of his first movie, the Sun Guardian thing, the guardian of the chest room. Dude, Loki's got all of Asgard behind him at this point. He's pretty much, he might have killed Odin. Let's see. The Asgardians bring their spears up and like point them towards all the soldiers, and Fury says, looking for direction, sir, because you seem to have lost your way. And we get a classic Loki, you would do best to kneel before a god. I like that. He's actually armored up to the max. I don't know if it's the same exact armor as in Avengers. I feel like they suited him up even better, since maybe he was suited up in Asgard. I don't know. It looks great. It looks great. We don't really do that here, no matter who or what you are. I'm Loki, Crown Prince of Asgard, and then the phone starts going off, and I love this bit. And he's like, are you going to get that? And Bruce Banner's like, basically, I'm not going to get killed, as Natasha's telling Fury what's going on, and telling Fury that we're about to get killed by this giant military, because Fury's picking up the phone just as all this is happening, and it's General Ross coming to kill Bruce Banner. And Fury's like, I'm getting attacked by Asgardian army. He says, he phrases it, space Vikings, and she says, show off. He says, handle it and get to ground. Now, what is it exactly that brought you here, Mr. Loki? Asked Fury. And Loki spits out vengeance. An agent of this planet murdered Thor Odinson, the Crown Prince of Asgard. Now, we know Loki does have strong, immense love for his brother deep down. We know that he wants the throne, but I don't think he wanted his brother to die, especially that, I think he would want it at his own hands, if anything. There's many variants of Loki, too, so we know this as well. This is just one Loki variant. So let's just look and see what unfolds with this Loki. This cuts back then to Natasha and Bruce speaking to General Ross. Natasha tells Ross that she's with S.H.I.E.L.D. and to stand down. Bruce gets shot in the arm, just shot. And Ross is like, who fired? It was not us. And Natasha approaches Bruce. We're okay, all right. This isn't a good sign because Bruce, remember, he is the Hulk. Loki lets Director Fury know that he fails to comprehend the enormity of the situation. And then Loki proceeds to pull out the casket of ancient winters, which is literally, I think, can make hell freeze over. So I think he's about to ruin Earth. I think this is about to get a lot darker than I even thought possible. I think it's about to go insanely dark. I don't know. This is like the darkest timeline, maybe. It's crazy. I feel really bad. And at the same time, Hulk is hulking out and starting to go crazy. And, it's just it's going crazy. It's going insane. This isn't as cool as the last episode. Even there was a Thanos present in the last episode, and this isn't as cool. And not in a bad way. I mean, this is really cool storytelling, amazing storytelling actually, but just in a darker way. It's dark storytelling, which is very great. Natasha does do her superhero landing that Yelena makes fun of her for and calls her a poser for. When she lands away from the Hulk, when he turns her to the Hulk. So, poser, you do this thing where you land and you turn your hair. She does it, totally does it. Ross demands the soldiers to take the Hulk down, and Loki opens the casket and it unleashes blue flames, but it's ice. And yeah, Fury ducks down and it gets all over the place. It's turning everything to ice. The casket turns everything to ice. Everything. Cars, people. And it's pretty devastating. General Ross is shooting the Hulk, and he's saying, you want some of this? And then that's where Betty, I think her name is Betty Ross, she's running at. She's saying, no, don't shoot Bruce, And that's where Natasha pulls her aside, and it's not who started this. And at which point she asks who did, and then you cut to the Hulk, and he actually grew so big that he exploded, and that's kind of disgusting. I feel like if it were more animated and they wanted to go the whole way, it would have been a lot more gruesome. I can't believe that happened. Yeah, they blew him up. He couldn't stop growing. They blew him up. I have to go back and watch that. That's sad. As the ice goes everywhere and Fury is looking at the destruction around him, he screams, yells at Loki, declaring war on this planet will not bring your prince back. And who I realize is Lady Sif, tells Loki that he's right. The All-Father would want us to listen. Loki tells Fury that we are not allies, and then Fury insists, and then let me help you. I promise when I find your brother's killer, you will have your pound of flesh. And Loki says, I want the whole body. Classic Loki. He's just, he never has enough, and Loki's just so morbid. I mean, at the same time, why would he trust anybody? They hadn't even been through the full plot of Thor yet. Loki had not really fully screwed Thor over, had he? How much had he screwed Thor over yet at this point in Thor? A little bit, right? He was behind a lot of the stuff that had happened, at least, but not all of it. And you know what? He did not want his brother dead. That's for sure. So yeah, Fury says, you need to give me time. Loki says, you have until the next rise of Midgard's sun to deliver my brother's assassin. I'm gonna guess that's tomorrow. Or he will reduce this planet to ash and ice. It's actually kind of ominous. I feel like it would take Loki a really long time to do that, though. Like, it would take him, 3 months. So Natasha's sitting in the public library looking up files. I wonder if she'd maybe try and find, a safer place to look files up, but I guess she wouldn't want to do it on an IP address. I don't know, spy stuff. Anyways, she's calling Coulson to get his shield information, and this is where she starts digging into some stuff. His password is Steve. I heart Steve 2424 or something like that. So he loves Steve Rogers. There's nothing wrong with that. It's cool. So as she gets into the computer, she finds someone is behind her. She starts to get her butt kicked by some invisible force, straight up invisible, like Harry Potter invisibility cloak, invisible. Yeah, and she gets files for Coulson, Fury, Janet Van Dyne, and Alexander Pierce. And how did a woman who died 2 years ago access the database yesterday? And she calls Fury, it's all about hope, it's all about hope. And Fury listens to that voicemail over and over again in a diner. And this is in New Mexico, where the icy battle happened. And that was like an icy, basically, mountain out in the desert. Very mythical. Interesting alternate timeline. I like this. This is very, very interesting place they're doing this too. Early phase 1. Like early phase 1 alternate timeline here. I like this so much. And so we got Fury sitting in a diner outside, all the cars are parked, and he's just listening to this voicemail from Black Widow he just got over and over again. Coulson reminds Fury that it's 4 hours until sunup, and he says he knows, but he looks very, very stressed on this situation. And Coulson says, "Sir, I understand that this Prince Loki situation is the very reason you proposed the Avengers initiative for a group of remarkable individuals to fight the battles we can't." And he says, "I wrote the speech." I love how it's referenced so often in this episode. Like, it was so good, that speech in the trailer for Endgame, and it was so epic. And there was an idea for a group of remarkable people to fight the battles that we can't. It's kind of like almost mocked in this episode, but not really. Like, it's just it's sad. Like, he can't get the band together in this one. Coulson says there's still one Avenger left, sir, and that's you. And Fury looks kind of angry, and he says, I'm not the last Avenger. And he tells Coulson, he tells Coulson that with purpose, and he walks out to the car with purpose, and he grabs the pager, Captain Marvel's pager. He gets to Loki's palace thing, and the guardian of the throne room, or the guardian of Odin's vault, that Thor fights at the end of Thor 1, and he says, "I'm here to see your boss." And then we cut to Thursday. This is a long week. We are now in San Francisco, California. The Watcher is also watching from above. He's watching very closely on this one. We are now above the gravestone of Hope Van Dyne. So I'm going to assume the Nexus event of this reality, or the big spinning turning point of this event, of this reality, was the death of Hope Van Dyne, or her becoming a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. I don't remember if she was or is one in the current. Was she ever one in the MCU? No. But this turned someone who we know and basically love in the current MCU insane, with revenge. This is Hank Pym, evil Hank Pym. I've never seen anything like this. I didn't see this coming at all. We got bad Ant-Man, an evil Ant-Man on our hands. Antagonistic Ant-Man, early game. Hank Pym has been around in the MCU just in the background this whole time. And boy, oh boy, with a reckless shield and in the right circumstances, he's actually wearing the yellow jacket suit. Not the Ant-Man suit, he's wearing the yellow jacket suit. Pym says that Hope died because of Fury, and Fury replies that Hope Van Dyne was killed. Agent Hope Van Dyne was killed on a mission outside of Odessa, Ukraine. He said, "She was my daughter, my little girl." I mean, this is so personal to Hank Pym. Dude, this is like completely out of left field for me. What the hell, dude? So yeah, this is great. This is really great. I did not see this. I did not see this coming, and I believe it's got to be the exact voice of Michael Douglas. I mean, if it's not Michael Douglas, then whoever they hired to sound like Michael Douglas deserves the Michael Douglas Award of the year, because that's Michael Douglas. If I had ever heard him, that's an angry Michael Douglas. Like, I'm afraid of him. I'm afraid of this guy. Look at his eyes. His eyes are fierce, ferocious. His daughter's dead, and he wants to kill Nick Fury because Nick Fury apparently is the only reason that his daughter died. Not S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick Fury, not S.H.I.E.L.D., the corrupt S.H.I.E.L.D. He can't put a face on this problem, but the guy who's creating a superhero team to save the world, this superhero, this Hank Pym is the worst. I'm so happy that there's other Hank Pym. To see what Hank Pym is capable of is freaky and terrible and awful. I'm scared of Hank Pym's capabilities. Terrible. I mean, we do see dark side tendencies from him. I think he's a kooky lab scientist. We get that, but dude, this is a variant of Hank Pym, which unlike no other. It just goes to show what one wrong left right or turn can do to somebody. So he's saying that the other Van Dyne was also a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. Her mom, Hope, Janet Van Dyne's mom, was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. I want to assume she was also the Wasp in this timeline as well. I'm guessing that this is just a timeline that they were also S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and the Wasp. I may be getting some of the. I may need Mr. Honest, aka Eric, may need to go back and watch Ant-Man. Okay, we could go talk about it. Email me your angry fan raging thoughts at marvelmaniacpod@gmail.com. I want to hear them. I want to hear what you have to say. What did you think of this episode? I'm not done watching it yet. I got a few minutes left, but holy mother almighty, this fight between, I'm just going to say Michael Douglas and Samuel L. Jackson, because this is what we're watching kind of, is epic. And the fact that it's animated pretty much makes it like we don't need stunt coordinators. We just get to watch these two guys go full force at each other, full quality force fight, and I love it. This is really good. They're fighting for stakes here, and I gotta say, Nick Fury's gonna win this one because this variant of Hank Pym is a lunatic. This guy just killed the Avengers. Thank God Steve Rogers hasn't been pulled out of the ice yet, right? My bet now is that this is the timeline that Peggy Carter will be pulled out of at the end of this episode. I hope so. And then she will get to interact with regular Steve Rogers and fight off the Chitauri. Well, the Chitauri thing ain't gonna happen. This is all turned around now here. So this reality is just completely. I mean, you see what the multiverse does to you? It sends you on loops. Guys. Wow. I gotta finish this episode. So yeah, we get to see Pym's perspective of him basically taking down every Avenger, going into Iron Man's suit like the projectile. He throws an enlargement disc at the Hulk's heart. He literally flicks the arrow out of Hawkeye's hand. He goes at Natasha. It all makes sense now. The invisible fight, Natasha. Oh my gosh, it's just like all so much at once in these episodes. I underestimate these. And when he asks about Thor, which I think he's baiting him to admit that he killed Thor, because Loki's got to be with him. And what he needs is for him to admit that he killed Thor, for him to get like Earth protected from this invasion from Loki and the Asgardian army. Because all I can pretty much bet is Odin's pissed too. You don't want Odin pissed at you. You got Odin pissed at you. You got Thanos looking at you because you also have the Mind Stone on Earth. You got a lot of stuff about to hit you, Fury. So pretty much right now, Hank Pym needs to. He's got to sell Hank Pym out to Loki. The Yellow Jacket suit is really cool. I feel like Hank Pym using it. I feel like he just knows how to use the suit. Evil Hank Pym especially. He goes at Fury, but then Fury turns into a million Furies and circles Hank Pym and freaks him out. And this is what you get when you get an amazing team up like Nick Fury and Loki. So they team up and take down Hank Pym. And Fury says S.H.I.E.L.D. is people willing to give their lives for something greater than themselves. To save the world from men like you. Such shade. And all the Asgardians coming in right behind Fury, like in full force. It's just honestly, I said it was dark. It's honestly looking kind of good for Earth. It's like a union between the Asgardian army instead of just Thor and Earth. It's like all of Asgard and Earth. And he said, Hope Van Dyne always understood that, to Hank Pym. And so yeah, Fury says, take the hammer and get off my planet to Loki. And he says, I was thinking we might extend my stay here on Midgard. So the next day, we are Friday, United Nations, New York City. Loki and several of his soldiers walk towards a podium at the front of the room. Loki says, nations of Earth have put aside their differences. Yeah, so basically Loki rules the world without the help of anything. Thanos, he doesn't need any scepter, nothing. Coulson says the Avengers fell before they had a chance to rise. May they rest in peace. They can, but we won't. The Watcher says, I believe in this universe as in every other, hope never dies. And Fury is searching through the remains of Captain America, the shelter of the wreckage of the ship. And he finds a shield, and then Carol Danvers shows up as Captain Marvel, and she says, where's the fight? So there are still some Avengers alive. This is the first one-off. I don't know if we're going to see any follow-up to this one. I thought this was a really fun episode, and I thought it took a brave step in a different direction, just like the other episodes of Marvel's What If. I am thrilled to be here with you today on Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. What an episode, what an episode, what an episode. What did you think? I actually have no idea every single week what I'm walking into. I always kind of have an idea. T'Challa, Star-Lord, I kind of knew. This week, I had no idea. Next week, we could be getting Thanos going on a date or going to prom. Thanos going to prom. If Thanos is going to prom with that lady from Guardians of the Galaxy, the gold lady, like what would that be about? That would be boring. I don't want to see that. Maybe a little bit. If there was like an extra episode, I wouldn't want to lose an episode in that sense. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you at Marvel Maniac Pod on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. We're on all of them. Hit us up. Literally give us a follow or whatever. We'd love to hear from you. Email us at marvelmaniacpod@gmail.com. That's the best place to reach us right now. If you'd like to donate, the best place would be paypal.me/marvelmaniacpod or at marvelmaniacpod on PayPal. Thank you so much for being here today, and we will be here next week, as always, for the 4th episode already of Marvel's What If. Now remember, Shang-Chi will be out on September 3rd, 2021. That is very soon, and I will be doing my best to cover it on the day, if not within the next day or two of it releasing. We'll see you next week. Until then, Avengers, disassemble.